Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a very serious show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, as you guys know, about 3 or 4 days ago, we reported some news that was centered on Joy Taylor. As a matter of fact, we have an updated article that was just published by Front Office Sports, which was published yesterday. I want to quickly read the headline. It says, Joy Taylor still sidelined from FS1 Speak. It continues on. Joy Taylor's absence from FS1 Speak has reached a second week. Last week, Front Office Sports reported that Taylor was sidelined by FS1 from appearing on their Ensemble talk show. The reason why the network made the decision remains unclear, and a Fox Sports spokesperson declined to comment. Taylor has now been out for 6 consecutive shows following a vacation from the program. Her social media accounts still indicate that she is a host for it, and as does the TV guide on cable systems. Taylor was named along with FS1 boss Charlie Dixon and former network host Skip Bayless in a lawsuit filed by former Fox hairstylist Nushin Faraji early this year. Bayless left the network last year, and The Athletic reported Dixon was placed on leave by the network after a second lawsuit was filed by former on-air personality Julie Stewart Binks. So that's kind of where we are right now. So this morning, I was just kind of combing through the internet here, and I came across a pretty serious piece of news. And I got this information from the website awfulannouncing.com, and it had the following headline saying, Fox's motion to move workplace misconduct lawsuit to federal court denied. And I was like, wait a minute, this thing looks like it's getting pretty serious here. So this is the article that we want to get into right now. Okay, the article then continues on by saying, Fox Sports has hit a snag in its defense of the Bombshell workplace misconduct lawsuit filed by a former hairstylist early this year. A court filing submitted to the Los Angeles Supreme Court on Monday denied Fox's motion to move the workplace misconduct lawsuit to a federal court. Instead, the case will be heard in the Los Angeles court where the original lawsuit was filed. This suit, brought by former Fox Sports hairstylist Nushin Faraji, alleged widespread workplace misconduct at the network. Specifically, Faraji named former FS1 host Skip Bayless and current FS1 host Joy Taylor and Fox Sports executive Charlie Dixon as defendants in the lawsuit and perpetrators of a toxic workplace environment. Amongst the most shocking accusations, Faraji claims Skip Bayless proposition to pay her $1.5 million for sex. Taylor discriminated against her based on the basis of her ethnicity, and Dixon touched her inappropriately at a party. However, Faraji's original lawsuit included less salacious accusations, including claims that Fox failed to provide proper overtime compensation. Fox used the allegations to attempt to move the case to federal court, which the network presumably saw as a more favorable jurisdiction for the case. According to Monday's filings, Faraji's team has amended the original suit to remove these accusations from the complaint, making Fox motions to move the case to federal court. Concurrently, Fox is also dealing with a separate lawsuit filed by former FS1 talent Julie Stewart Binks, who came forward with similar allegations of sexual misconduct shortly after Faraji's lawsuit was filed. Excuse me. So you heard what this article has to say here. What are my thoughts on this? Well, I'm beginning to believe that there may be some merit to this case, right? There may be some merit to this case, given the fact that they just got denied the motion that they tried to put forward. They were denied, and now they have to be heard in a Los Angeles Supreme Court, where the suit was originally filed. So where's all of this going? Well, we have to look at what's happened. Obviously, this news came out after Skip Bayless was let go from the network. Right now, did the network, were they aware that maybe something like this was possibly brewing on the horizon? Who knows? And maybe they were like, okay, let's kind of make a preemptive move by getting rid of Skip Bayless. I don't believe so. I could be wrong. I think Skip's removal from the network had a lot to do with the ratings of Undisputed, the former show Undisputed, which has now been rebranded as I believe the facility, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't really think has anything to do with that. I could be wrong, but I don't think it does. But Skip is no longer there, right? So just imagine if this lawsuit had came out if Skip was still there, or rather if Skip was still there at the height of his powers. It would have been a really big distraction, and it would have caused some serious issues for them. So Skip is not there. But in the case of Joy Taylor, I mentioned this before, and I want to reiterate my original thoughts, which were usually when things like this come out, the first step that companies like this, networks like this do is they immediately suspend the person in question. I mean, hell, you remember the Michael Irvin situation that happened at that hotel. He was just simply accused, and they got him up out of there, right? They got him up out of there immediately, and then he went to go now defend himself, and I think ultimately he succeeded. But in the case of Joy Taylor, she was still able to show up to work. Hell, she was even there for the Super Bowl coverage. Right? She was there for the Super Bowl coverage. So to see them now all of a sudden pull her from their on-air show, it now begins to make one wonder, well, is there some truth here? Right? Because if there wasn't any truth to this lawsuit, then why isn't she still on air? Right? Why isn't she still on air? Or did they break their standard procedure, which is, in cases like that, when you have salacious lawsuits like the one that came out, the 42-page lawsuit that came out a month or so ago, usually you suspend the person. And maybe they decided, you know what, we're going to back her, we're going to stay with her. But then as time went on, they then began to discover that, oh, wait a minute, that may have been a blunder on our part. Maybe it would have made more sense for us to suspend her sooner. Just the other day, we produced a show about it. Not Skip Bayless, Paul Pierce and Keyshawn Johnson were cracking up about it, making jokes about it, like, man, it's rough out here, right? It's rough out here, because they host a show with her. And she's very much the moderator, and she's probably the glue person on that show. So now they got to do the show on the fly. You've been noticing Rick Bucher has been showing up there a lot more, or at least filling in the space that she used to be in, right? And it's causing these guys to kind of modify the way that they produce the show. So they were kind of making jest of it. Where do I think all of this is going? Something in me is telling me that this case has legs, right? Something is telling me that this case has legs. And I also have the feeling that Joy may not be returning back to FS1. That's the feeling I have. I don't hope so, because I don't hope for anybody to be out of a job, not at all. But that's the feeling that I have. And I think the people that we need to pay close attention to, I said this before in the previous show, and I'm going to reiterate it now. The people we need to pay close attention to as more information comes out are Marcellus Wiley and Jason Whitlock. Because these guys were at the network when a lot of these things were going on, and they're going to be able to give us a unique insight to what in terms of reading between the lines of what this lawsuit is saying, that I don't think anybody else out there is going to be able to give us. So you guys need to also stay glued to their channels when it comes to their coverage of this particular story. So the question is simply this: do you think that this thing is going to get worse? And do you ultimately believe that Joy Taylor is going to lose her job, and obviously Skip Bayless is going to be brought back into the situation? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we'll catch you guys on the next show. Peace.